The unused section on interspecies love, from Life, the Universe, and Everything, was reworked into the Hexagonal Phase by placing it as a guide entry right before Zaphod and Trillian reunite with one another on the planet Nano.
Trillian! You there?
It's Zaphod.
Ignore him.
No, I can't do that. We have things to talk about.
So far, there has been very little exploration in this narrative of the pre-existing relationship between Zaphod Beeblebrox and Trillian. And there is a reason for this. They are of different species, and anyone who needs any further explanation should consult the Imperial Galactic Law Statute covering unnatural practices. The statute is astonishingly long and graphic and describes exactly what is meant by unnatural practices, and was actually made into law during the presidency of Zaphod Beeblebrox himself, an administration that passed the least laws of any in history. However, in this one case, it is believed the statute was passed because Zaphod wrote most of it himself. The statute as a whole, A, is pure pornography, B, outlaws all other pornography, and C, is therefore the only book in the galactic history of publishing to have outsold that wholly remarkable work, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. There is no one who can say for certain where the revenue from the sales of this statute ended up, but equally, there is no one who can't guess. Whatever the unknowns, however, Zaphod and Trillian are always pleased to see each other.
Trillian, hey!
Zaphod! You did it! You found Thor!
The opening paragraph from a scrapped opening chapter of Life, the Universe, and Everything is inserted before describing the Vogons.
Reason notwithstanding, the universe continues unabated. On millions of planets throughout the galaxy, new dreams are being dreamt, new hopes are hoped, and new days continue to dawn despite the terrible failure rate. But there is one place where failure is not tolerated. As the Vogon Bureau-Cruiser-class vessel Business End, with its brand new interstellar overdrive, emerges from hyperspace 0.01 parsecs beyond Nano's thermosphere, 3,000 members of the Vogon bureaucratic corps flop out of their hypercradles and rub the belt dimples from their tummies with thin spaghetti arms.
A line from the scrapped section on Arthur's Nightmare in Life, the Universe, and Everything is inserted right as the Vogons arrive on the planet Nano.
Meanwhile, as several billion trillion tons of superhot exploding hydrogen nuclei rise slowly up to the highest point in the sky over Nano, another shape can be seen overhead, descending through wisps of stratocumulus towards the broad meadow where Thor and Wowbagger are warming up before their battle.
The section on The Feast of the Assumption of Zain Zalabad, from the scrap Mostly Harmless notes, is reworked into describing one of Arthur's adventures while hitchhiking.
In the worlds beyond the great Moosop of Rontoid, they celebrate the Feast of the Assumption of Saint Zalabad. Zalabad had been a great and popular king and had assumed that everyone would like to have a huge feast at his expense every year for no better reason than that it would be a terrifically good time for all concerned. And his assumption had proved to be entirely correct. So correct, in fact, that after his death, people made him a saint. They hadn't had any saints before and thought that having one who was just plain good-hearted would be a tremendously good start. There were grumbles, of course, there always are. There were those who said that you couldn't have a proper religion that wasn't based on some acts of senseless brutality that everyone could torture themselves about and maybe a few other people while they were at it. But everyone was just kind to these people till they shut up. The actual feast was one of singing and dancing in the streets, and nearly everyone was having fun. On one occasion, during his many travels, swept up in the cheerful celebrating crowds was Arthur Dent. It was one of the happiest days of his life, certainly up to the point where he met Fenchurch, and as he sits aboard a slump jet bound for a Lossimanus Sinica, he wonders if he will ever find happiness of any kind again.
Two bits taken from the scrapped Life, the Universe, and Everything note, Marvin Meets His Destiny, are used when Marvin shows up once again as Arthur slips into another parallel universe. Notably, the bit about the ill wind and the give us a grin little robot, give us a little chuckle, is reworked into the conversation between Arthur and Marvin.
Instead, bereft and miserable, he retraces a journey he took once before to a beach near the monastery of the Holy Lunching Friars of Vunden. Arthur walks along the sand, expecting nothing, hoping for nothing. But there is a shack there with a veranda, and outside, a small, familiar figure is sweeping sand off the decking.
Hello? Hello?
Oh, it's you.
And it's you. Hello, Marvin. I thought I'd dreamed this place. Oh well, it's an ill wind that blows nobody any good.
It probably is. I wouldn't be surprised to see some pretty sick fog coming in over the marshes as well.
So you were repaired.
You say that as if it gave me any pleasure. The number of times people expect me to be grateful for existing, it's wretched. They stop me in the street and say things like, "Give us a grin, little robot, give us a chuckle." I have to explain that to put a grin on my face would take a good couple of hours in a workshop with a pipe wrench.
I don't care. Be as miserable as you want. It's good to see you.
No, it isn't.
You're quite correct. It's miserable to see you.
While not taken directly from the unused writings of Douglas Adams, Douglas always said that he wanted the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series to end on a happier note. Dirk Maggs decided to go with his wishes and give the series a happier ending. He did this first with the quintessential phase, with the Babelfish explanation, and when this was retconned in both And Another Thing, and in the Hexagonal Phase as simply being an explanation given by the Guide Mark II construct, he decided to take the once again quite bleak ending of And Another Thing, and give Arthur a happy ending, ending the series on a positive note, just as Douglas wanted.
Look, can I pop inside and run myself a bath? It's been a tough few days.
Why not? You live here.
Really? Oh. I must have wandered into another of these parallel universes then.
Whatever. Don't get too comfortable.
What do you mean?
The Vogons came over. Apparently you forgot to obtain a planning permit for your shack.
Oh, great. Perfect. Typical. Don't tell me they're still here.
In that case, I won't.
Oh, Arthur, you're back.
Fenchurch?
I was just filling out the planning application. You're home just in time for tea.
Oh. Oh, that's nice.
Call this job satisfaction, because I don't. Here I am, brain the size of a planet.
And that's how Dirk Maggs was able to rework many of Douglas Adams's unused writings into the Hexagonal Phase. The Hexagonal Phase, in my opinion, is quite underrated when it comes to the Hitchhiker's Guide series. I feel a lot of people look down on it due to being based on a non-Douglas Adams novel. And, honestly, that's extremely unfair. Dirk Maggs and his team were able to round up most of the original cast for one final adventure, and made sure that, while still adapting And Another Thing, that the words of Douglas Adams were able to shine in a work made long after his passing. Dirk seamlessly was able to slip in scrap chapters and dialogue written by the series creator without it ever feeling jarring in this totally unrelated story. As someone who listened to the Hexagonal Phase before looking into the Fruit, Don't Panic, and even the novel it's based on, And Another Thing, I wasn't able to tell the Douglas Adams bits from the non-Douglas Adams bits. They felt so perfectly tied into the overall story, and the guide entries felt just as natural. And I haven't even gone into how much the Hexagonal Phase improved on the original And Another Thing novel. It removed many of the main cast's out-of-character moments, it was able to make Wowbagger into a much more likable character, and, as mentioned, it gave something for Ford and Arthur to actually do. I do want to one day make a video reviewing the Hexagonal Phase in depth, but to wrap up the point of this video, it's remarkable how much of Douglas Adams was able to be incorporated into a largely non-Douglas Adams story. Once again, bravo to Dirk Maggs, Kevin Jon Davies, and everyone else who made this phase possible. And with that, I've been Groovy Jake. If you liked the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. And until next time, stay groovy.